And now it is. All right. Three, two, one. Dude, what did we just watch? I mean, what did we just watch? Welcome on in. It's another edition of Clap Your Hands, presented by Coors Light. Myself, Jack Fritz, alongside Eliot Shorr-Parks, as we are responding and reacting to an all-time Philadelphia athlete putting together one of the best performances in Sixers history. I mean, points-wise, it's the best ever. And cementing himself as the best center in Sixers history. I mean,
not even close.
What a performance. What a player.
Before the pod, I joked we should try to clap 70 times. Then I was going to do it. And then we got to like 20 and I felt kind of tired. I can't even imagine scoring 70 points. I couldn't even clap 70 times, let alone do that. I mean, look, I tweeted it and people have commented and say they disagreed. But I think it's the most dominant performance I've ever seen from a Philly athlete. Like, you could bring up Foles in the Super Bowl, and certainly the stage is bigger there.
I would say a little bit bigger,
games,
yeah.
So, yeah, a little bigger. Yeah, a little bigger. I mean, like, there's been perfect games, no hitters, but just in terms of a player just looking completely unstoppable. Like, every time he got the ball, every time he shot. I mean, someone tweeted, I forget who it was, that the defense was so bad on the Spurs, it looked like they were in on it. Like, he was just, it's the most dominant I've ever seen. I mean, when his jumper is going like that, no one can stop him. And you could tell early on, he knew that going into this game, like, he wanted to send a message. We've talked about it this season. He comes into games dominating right away. And on a night like tonight, he really got it going. And man, I mean, obviously Wilt stats shouldn't count for the Sixers. So I was happy that like he did break it, but it's the most dominant I've ever seen from a Philly athlete or a Sixer.
Yeah, and I thought it was a little bit too much of. I mean, Embiid might just hate the French. I mean, he kills Gobert. He killed Wemby tonight.
He can talk trash in French, so I guess maybe it gets him going a little more.
Exactly, but I think he probably heard. Obviously, I mean, he's probably curious to see what it's like to go up against Wembyama. And listen, Wemby's gonna be good. I still wonder how great he's gonna be. Joel Embiid wanted to go out there and send a message tonight, and I don't know if he had to hang 70 on him. I appreciate the Sixers defense keeping that game close enough.
Well, Maxey did his best to keep it close too. Maxey was horrendous in this game.
He really, I mean, there's a couple Sixers that stick out from a 70-point perspective. Yeah. I guess Maxey essentially no showing is important. Daniel House. Just get out of the way. I mean, just get out of the way.
Like he had no idea what was going on.
Dude, like, 100% he had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
Like he's put his head down, going to the rim, jacking threes.
Should have taken him out.
Yeah, I mean, he's lucky he got 70, frankly. I mean, Daniel House is doing his best to ruin a 70-point performance. It was out of control. Furkan's like, oh my God, this is the one game I get to play a month. I'm going to start shooting. Neither one of those two had any idea what Embiid was doing tonight. But it did look insanely easy. I also don't appreciate Greg Popovich. All of a sudden you're waiting till he's at 68 to start throwing double teams at him.
Yeah, it's absurd. Brett Brown needed to step in and stop that. Brett on the sideline should have been like, look, Pop. But here's what I would say too about tonight. Like, I know that we're past the point of where, like, we know Joel's a great player. He's the best player in the NBA. But on nights like tonight, when he drops 70 points and the Wells Fargo Center is getting on their feet as he comes back in, and he's unstoppable like that, and they're winning games like that, you do think back to where this guy has come from. Like, there was a moment in the game tonight where, I could just picture Joel after the game talking about Wemby and saying, yeah, he's the next generation. But like, Joel is right now. And there were times when Joel, early on in his career, it might have not gotten to this point. It might have not gotten to the point where he was the best player in the NBA, or even a starter in the NBA, or even in the NBA this far in his career, breaking his foot twice within the first 2 years, like the conditioning issues, like all those things. I know that we're past them, and we are. And like, it's not things you think about as much anymore. But on nights like tonight, when he's doing what he's doing, it's so hard not to think about like where this guy has come. I mean, the pick was laughed at it to an extent when they made it. Like, he's been through all the losing. And of course it happened with Brett on the other sideline. I mean, it was just he deserved tonight. Like, as much work as he's put in and as much as he has overcome to get to this point, like, he deserves to have the most points in Sixers history. He, like, flat out. And so for everything he's gone through tonight was it reminds you of all that.
Well, and I'm proud that he gets to be the guy that has the most points in Sixers history. I mean, Eliot will, quote unquote, allegedly set that record in 1968.
Yeah, get out of here with that.
But and I know, like, joking and bits aside, I mean, 1968. That's
almost 60 years ago.
That's almost 60 years ago. So you and I are doing a post-game reaction to a feat that might never be broken in our lifetime.
Yeah.
That might be a record that will never be broken in this franchise history forever, as long as this team and the NBA is around. No one might score more points than Joel Embiid did tonight, and I thought Nurse had a good feel for the moment. Again, besides like Daniel House, I think the rest of the team, like Batum. I mean, Batum might as well have been Magic Johnson out there, like just setting him up whenever he could. But like I know people and people who just want to be miserable because, God forbid, you could have an ounce of fun. They'll do the whole playoffs, yada yada yada. Like, not that, like, wake me up. It's like, dude. Again, Karl-Anthony Towns cannot top him tonight. Like, I don't.
Yeah, so I've seen that's going on. Do you know what he's at right now? I saw he had 41 in the first half. Like, we cannot have Joel.
He right now is at 55 with. He's is a minute and 22 left in the third.
So it'll be close. We can't have him hit 71 tonight. Of all the players in the league, at least it's not Jokic. I mean, Jokic would never be able to do this, but at least it's not Jokic. Like, but Karl-Anthony Towns is pretty high on the list of guys I would not want to top Embiid on tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have people in the chat, and I'm just gonna come out and say it. Like, Noah Vonleh is not as good as Joel Embiid. Just gonna say it. Like, people are demanding I say it. I will say it. The tweet from 2014 lives on. Safe to say, Joel's had a bit of a better career.
So I was gonna bring this up later, and I would like Twitter. I mean, I guess you don't have to bully an old man, but like, Rendell doesn't get nearly as much crap as you do. I mean, Rendell tweeted they should take McDermott over.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, actually.
Over Joel Embiid.
Now, I will say, McDermott still in the league, which is surprising to me tonight to see him in the league and on the Spurs.
Well, he's just, I mean, all he does is stand there and shoot a million threes again.
Yeah.
I could do what Doug McDermott does. How about that for a take?
Beat that. That'll go over well.
How about that for a take? But yeah, it's ridiculous. And, the Spurs kept it competitive. The Sixers defense kept it competitive.
Yeah.
And, like, sure, if you want to nitpick and talk about how, like, it shouldn't be that close against the Spurs and he shouldn't have had to play the fourth, I get it. But it's one of those nights, I genuinely think that every player on the team was like, Joel's doing something special here. Like, it may be bad offense. I don't think Nick Nurse is going to be bringing it to the tape of how they should run their offense.
Well, there was sometimes 2 or 3 minutes there, or 2 or 3 possessions, I should say, where I was like, man, he's really not going to get it. Like, he flopped at the basket. Well, not flopped, because I know that's a sensitive subject right now. But he, like, threw his hands up like it looked like he wasn't going to get it. He missed a shot. When he missed the free throw, I was like, oh man, this really might not happen. But yeah, for there was a few minutes where I was thinking it wasn't going to, but thankfully it did.
And again, there was a couple minute stretch there in the third where, Daniel House and those guys did not understand the assignment, and they rightfully got it back going in the right direction. So 70 points from Joel Embiid, and one of those things where when we're looking back on and trying to, because we talked in the past of this podcast about like, what are his moments going to be, and what are the things that we're going to be talking about at his Hall of Fame induction, because he's obviously a lock Hall of Famer if he retired today. Like, tonight's one of those nights where, like, I Walker now was not sleeping very well, so he's able to come down and witness the history.
Oh, he watched it? Nice.
And before anyone calls me bad parenting, because it was like about 9:15, not my fault. The kid's not going to bed. And
also, like, what's he have to wake up for?
Exactly.
Like, it's
There's no
not
stress
like
on him.
Yeah, like getting a kid out of bed if he has school tomorrow, like I would still do it, but ultimately I can see the point. Like he needs to sleep for tomorrow. Walker really has nothing to do other than sleep and be awake. Like those are really the only two things he does. So I think, the fact he got to at least say he saw it, although in like 60 years, will he be going, yeah, my dad said Joel scored 70 points, but we all know that didn't really happen.
As he's on WIP.
Yeah, exactly.
He's on WIP wondering if the Joel Embiid 70-point game actually happened. Well,
so here's another thought off of this.
Yes.
So Joel obviously is the best athlete in the city right now. Like it just is what it is. On nights like tonight, when you see him do what he does, he's better than Jalen Hurts. Bryce has an argument to an extent, but like Bryce has been hurt, like doesn't really play defense.
Although he's the most talented athlete in the city. It's not that hard.
But let me ask you this: like, is he the best athlete we've seen in Philly sports of our lifetime? Like, I think it was you that made this comparison. Like Reggie White, I think is up there in terms of like 99 sacks in 90 games, whatever it was for the Eagles. Roy Halladay was awesome, but he wasn't here long enough. Like, is this the best we've ever seen an athlete? T.O. for one season. I mean, like who else would you say? Carson in 2017, but that was like 11 games.
Well, I mean, Iverson. Iverson, obviously. Like,
dude, I love Iverson, but he was never this good.
No. And like, Iverson had to score in much more difficult ways. Like, Embiid had what, like 30 in the first like quarter.
I think he legit had like 28 in the first quarter, like 26 or something like that.
And I was sitting there once I got over, like, full disclosure, I did text you and James Jackson asking for him to get to foul out because I had other Sixers that I needed to make some shots.
Well, bad news. No one else really made shots tonight, so I don't think you hit any of your bets.
No, I did not. Thank you for.
Wonder what the odds would have been on 70 plus for Joel.
One of the first things I thought of, which is a problem when it comes to sports gambling, infiltrating.
Yeah, it does change how you watch sports. Yeah.
Dude, Karl Anthony Towns has 58 through 3. Like, hey, Cat.
Yeah, stop playing them. Are they up big?
I don't think they're up big enough to where he's going to come out, and like I'm sure that their coach is also going to seize the moment. I mean, it's 107-92. So,
but like seize the moment. It's the
Timberwolves.
Yeah, like there's no real history there. So I think he's
Anthony Edwards' dunk like 3 days ago was the best thing to happen in the Timberwolves since like Pat Bev was like throwing his uniform into the crowd after beating a 9 seed in a playoff game or a play-in.
Joel copying the dunk was unbelievable, by the way.
Well, it's just another example. It's just another example. If he can just do whatever he wants, like he can just do whatever he wants on a basketball court. It's so silly, and he's not even the nice part about where Joel is. Again, he was the MVP of the league last year. And he's been 10 times better this year.
Yeah, he's way better. This is the best version we've ever seen.
It's not even close, dude. Like, it's not even close. And the crazy part about Embiid right now is that it's not even these annoying. Like, he would score a lot of points in years past, but it'd be in kind of an annoying way, like where it'd be
too many free throws. Are you ripping him for being a free throw guy?
No, it's actually the 3-pointer thing. It's probably my most boomer take is like get on the block, and dominate from that standpoint. But like
when he made the 3 tonight was unbelievable.
It was great.
Like in the fourth quarter, yeah.
I mean, because he might not get to 70 if he doesn't make that.
Like, well, by definition.
He might. Thank you, but
no problem.
Because he got pulled at 133, 118. So if he makes it 131, 118, and he gets 67 points, I'm not sure they
doesn't hit as hard. 70 does just sound better,
dude. 70 is the best. 70 is the best. It's kind of like Kobe.
More impressive than Kobe's 81.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think so. But it's just it's the way he's scoring. Like he gets to that little high post, and it's just Cat's at 60. This is a disaster. Yeah, we're gonna have to count this down in real time.
Yeah.
It gets that little post action, easy money, whatever. Like Wemby what 60, 70, 7'4", whatever.
Dude, he's unbelievable. Like he will be the best player in the NBA in 2 or 3 years. He really is, man. Like he can pass, he can shoot. He looks like a baby deer out there learning how to run. Like once he learns how to like run and be like a true athlete, he will be the best player in the league. But that's a discussion for a future pod.
He's pretty good. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would say so. What do you have, like 30 and 14 tonight or something absurd like that?
He's on a minutes restriction. Come on, man.
You know what I mean?
From a rolled ankle on Christmas.
Yeah, that is kind of soft.
I mean, what are we doing?
Did you see the video of Joel walking by Wemby at the beginning of the game? He walks by him and he just gives a look of like shock. It had to be a little weird for Embiid to be around somebody that's like considerably taller, or like makes Embiid look small. Like obviously Embiid probably has like 40 pounds on him, but he makes Embiid look small compared to like a normal night. He made Paul Reed look like a guard, by the way. Paul Reed definitely looked at Wemby and was like, this is who I think I am in terms of like athletic prowess and like body type. And he's like, okay, never mind. I'm actually not at all.
The worst part about Paul Reed, looking like a guard compared to Wemby, is when Paul Reed thinks he's a guard.
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like when he got next to Wemby, he was like, oh man, I'm actually not like a super long athletic guy that can do a bunch of things.
And he said, watch me cook you. Like,
yeah, he tried.
watch me do this thing.
Tried his best.
Yeah, Wemby, listen, he's obviously going to be pretty insane, but the fact that Embiid's just like stepping up to him and going right over him and almost just like not acknowledging his existence is quite impressive. And like I felt bad for Zach Collins. Like if I was put on Joel Embiid, I think I also would quit. But he was getting so mad, Zach Collins, man, you're a fringe NBA player at this point. Like, go out there and take your medicine.
Joel definitely, and to your boomer take about this, Joel definitely came into the game, was like, he knows Wemby has a lot of hype. He's like, I'm gonna come in and prove like how good I am right now, and he obviously did that. But he also came in, I thought, it was like, I know Wemby can't guard me in the post. There were a few times where he just brought it down low and like it took 2 dribbles and 2 like back, and he was just at the basket. So you could tell, I mean, that's what people want from him. I think it's foolish because he is a amazing, like elite, there's my word, elite like perimeter shooter, like from the post. But he I mean, he took Wemby down low a few times, and there was literally nothing Wemby could do about it.
So, obviously when you're our age and maybe younger, and we have the general NBA discussion with older people who don't respect the sport anymore. Their whole thing
like
is, it's like this is actually all just about Howard. This is not. This is directed at one person. Directed at one person. But they say, back in the day, like, guys would take things personally. Now these guys are too buddy-buddy, and they're just trying to be friends on the court. It's like it was kind of a refreshing old school Wemby might be next, and Embiid being like, but don't worry, like I got 70 for you. Like I got 70 for you, and your time will come eventually, but let's not forget who the guy is right now.
So the one fun thing about how online Joel is, like, it can definitely be annoying because of like the vague tweets and all those things.
But he hasn't been like that in a while.
No, he hasn't been. He, at least since the season started. But but the one fun part of that is Joel is definitely very aware of like narratives. And so while I agree with you, it was fun to see him come in tonight and like want to prove a point. I don't think it was because, he doesn't like Wemby like this. So it's different from what like those boomers say. But I think Joel like enjoys the narrative part of the sport. And I think Joel enjoys like going out and making a statement tonight. And that's what you saw. Like,
now, does he like the narrative? Does he like the narrative part of the sport when the playoffs come around? Or
no? So this is where I was going to go next with it. And maybe you're not going to like this, and some of the listeners probably won't. I will be honest in saying that watching this, there was also a part of me that was like, man, I really just want to see him do it in the playoffs, and not in like a way that I don't think he can. But when he's playing like this, like if I could wish for one thing in Philly sports right now, it would be for Joel to have a healthy postseason. And I don't think that means he'll definitely get out the second round or anything like that. But this guy deserves like a fair shot at the postseason. That isn't to absolve him of past playoff failures. He's been healthy in games and not played well. Like, so it's not all on him. But this version of Joel, like the Oubre pass he had tonight was insane. He had another like over the back pass that was insane. Like, if this version of Joel gets a healthy postseason run, like this could be it. Like this could be the moment. And so while tonight was obviously incredibly impressive, the reality is there is always the backdrop of do it in the postseason. Like there just is. And I just really, really, really want to see this guy get a healthy postseason run because it's the best he's ever been.
Yeah, well, and it would be a shame if we didn't. It's kind of, I don't remember last year really having the kind of moments, that this team is kind of already
Well, I
having.
talked myself into it, to be honest.
Yeah, but when we're looking back on the season, and you start putting together the compilation of the entire regular season, and as they made their way through the postseason, like it kind of feels like a documentary. Like it feels like something that could get put together and
like a yearbook.
Like a yearbook, yes, but like more of an NBA, like a, not just a Phillies centric one, where they don't acknowledge.
Do you think we'll be in the Sixers yearbook?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
The live clap your hands.
The live.
What if we were the only Sixers pod mentioned in the yearbook when they won the title?
Dude, that's the only thing I care about now. Is
the only thing that make you happy when it comes to yearbooks.
The only thing that make me happy is be the only Sixers podcast mentioned. But like the 70-pointer, like it's gonna be something that maybe that's when the city gets on board, or that's a turning point in the season. And you start racking up these moments, like even starting with the James Harden trade, and how they overcame that and got to this point. How they had to overcome that trade.
I was like the phrasing of that. How they overcame.
How's that for over dramatizing?
It's a little built-in take happening
there. But like it's as you work your way through the year, you have these little moments, and it's why they have to get this next trade right, because I don't know how you're Daryl Morey, you're watching this, you're feeling the vibes, you're seeing how tough they are. Like KJ Martin has barely played, and he came off the bench tonight, and I think showed a little something.
Yeah.
Like he's definitely athletic. He has some bounce, and that's good. But if you're Daryl Morey and you're watching what your all-time center is currently doing, I mean, it's got to make you have this want to go out and secure the right guy. Like there's been a lot of DeJounte Murray stuff out there. It's interesting. It seems like that they like to move Maxey off the ball, and I guess if you look at his off the ball numbers, he's elite at it. But it's just like it's the window's now. It's time to 100% maximize what is going on. And like I've been one of those people of save the assets for the right trade, but I don't know how you do it with the way this guy's playing right now.
So one thing Daryl Morey said in the past, and maybe in my elder age, like I imagine you probably get this a little bit too. Like you get skeptical of things that people say on the record and like podium wise, like, oh, they're just saying that, like they're just trying not to get in trouble at the podium or whatever. But one thing Morey has said that I felt tonight is he does have a responsibility when it comes to Joel. Like he is the GM for the best player in franchise history. Like his job is solely to get Joel his title. And obviously it'll mean a title for Morey, another one for Nurse and Maxey and all those things. But this is about Joel. Like this is about putting the best team around Joel that you could possibly put around him. And the responsibility to, when you have the chance to go all in and when you have the chance to do it, to not only be like brave enough to make those moves, but to get it right. Like this is on Morey to make sure that the guys he trades for, because he will make a trade before the deadline. Like he will. Now the question is whether it'll be for just using example, like a Zach LaVine, like big time guy, or if it'll be a bunch of role players like a Bruce Brown, other guys that they like the Atlanta Bogdan, like that we've talked about, like those type of guys. Is it going to be that, or is it going to be a big time move? And I think Morey, I didn't follow him in Houston, but biggest trade deadline of his career. Like this is a biggest move. This is a bigger move than the Ben. You like that? This is a bigger move than the Ben Simmons time. Like this is bigger than figuring out what to do in the past. Like this is about going out and getting better players. Not that they need better players, but getting the best possible trade you can with your assets, because this is the Sixers year. Like this year right now, you have the best version of Joel. The East looks better than it did like since we started doing this pod, but it's still a very, very winnable East. The West isn't that great.
Doing this pod before the season?
Yeah. You like that?
Yeah, that's good. The years we've done this podcast.
All the years we've done this pod, this is the weakest the East has looked.
This is the best. This is the best.
There's no super team. Like there's no super team. So Morey's got to get it right. Like that's what Morey should have been feeling tonight. Like outside of the excitement of watching it, Morey should have almost been like nervous watching this, knowing like, okay, I have to get this move right, because the player I have on my roster right now is the best player in the NBA, potentially by a wide margin.
And you lay out that whole thing. You do a whole You know, a lot of little takes in there. You're not even remembering any of Houston's deadlines. This is the most important of his career. Yep,
I think so.
Just throwing it out there, unsubstantiated. Very good.
Yeah.
A lot of little things that you threw in there, which I appreciate.
Thank you.
But I can't help and think they can't come up short again. Like to go through this all again, to talk about this is their year and they have to make the trade. They have to get the trade right. If they come up small again, it's just crushing. And I think we talked about before the season started, like it was going to take something special, I think, to get the city back behind the basketball team again. And by the way, pretty good time for Joel Embiid to score 70 when the Eagles season ends. So
seriously, like the timing could not be better. The Flyers, I believe, have lost 3 in a row. How you like that? Yeah, South Philly sauce, agree. Everyone, make sure you listen to it.
They will tell you about the hockey team.
They will tell you about the hockey.
They'll tell you about what's going on with the hockey team. Although I've been watching more recently, but I don't. Again, we said last year, I don't know how the city recovers from this team not making the conference finals again and losing Game 6 and losing Game 7. But I think this year actually might be worse. Like, it might be worse because, again, I don't think Embiid's played better than this. And it would just be such a travesty to the history of the city for this guy to not have a run in him. Like, sure, he could have a run in 4 years when he's, like, averaging 17 points a game and is not Joel Embiid.
Right.
But peak of his power, Joel Embiid, not having a signature postseason run, again, I mean, when it's all said and done, it's like him and McGrady as the best players currently to never make a final. I mean,
Grant Hill, I don't think made a finals, did he?
Grant Hill's,
Grant Hill's a better all-time player than McGrady.
I don't know about that.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I guess he had injuries towards the end of his career. But
he had 5 good years. But
look, I like McGrady. I had all his shoes. Like, I love McGrady. I just think Grant Hill probably all-time ahead of him.
Didn't know you're such a Grant Hill guy.
Were you ready for that take? Yeah.
I was not ready for the first name out of your mouth to be Grant Hill.
The pro basketball research on Grant Hill before
it was such a quick Grant Hill response.
He was a teammate. He was teammates with McGrady on the Magic.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, that's what made me think of him. But he never played. I think he signed there and never played. I could be wrong about this.
He was never healthy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Grant Hill's
anyway, continue.
It's enough Grant Hill discourse on this podcast. But he it's not very often that one of the 40 best basketball players of all time and he's rising those ranks never makes the finals. Like, it can't happen. Like, it can't happen. He's better than Tracy McGrady. He's better than whoever you want to throw in there as a guy. He's better than all those guys.
He's the best scorer of all time.
If it goes down, he could go down as the greatest player in NBA history to never make a finals. That's insane.
It's interesting.
It would only happen here, by the way. It would only happen here.
Yeah, obviously. Well, it's interesting you bring up the Eagles right now because from a football perspective, a lot of people have been comparing the Buffalo Bills to the Sixers, right? And a lot of it is how they're always getting knocked out in the divisional round. But I think a difference is Josh Allen has really kind of escaped criticism because he's played well in a lot of those divisional games. What makes Joel different is Joel has not had great playoffs. That's not to say he's been bad by any stretch, but he's not been the best version of himself that he was. And I think the tough thing about this year and how great he's been, it sets the bar so high for the playoffs. Dude, he just got player of the week. He averaged 37 points over the last week. This week, he's probably going to end up averaging 44 points or something absurd because of the 70-point game. And to your point about how this is going to be a crushing kind of playoffs with a lot of emotional investment in it, I think a difference between the Eagles and the Sixers right now, when the Eagles were falling apart, they gave you no reason to believe, but everybody wanted to believe because they're the Eagles and people wanted to buy it. And they were mad, but they wanted to believe that the team could do it. With the Sixers, nobody wants to believe. Like no, like fans like the Sixers and fans want to root for them, but I don't think anybody is like going into this season or going into it right now saying, I truly believe the Sixers can do this. The difference is the Sixers are giving everybody reasons to believe. Like to your point, after coming off that playoff loss last year, no one wanted to be on this team. Like everybody we know, like was saying, I'm not going to pay attention till the playoffs. Who cares? Blah, blah, blah. I'm sure tomorrow on WIP, the Sixers will be a constant talking point throughout the day. People will call and talk about them. People are going to be in on them. People are buying in. And the reason they're doing that is the exact opposite reason of why people bought it on the Eagles. The Eagles for the last 7 games gave you no reason. And some people, the football experts on the station, will say they gave you no reason all season. The Sixers, since the beginning of this season, have played at a high level. They have had the best net rating of any team. They have the best 5-man lineup of any team. They have the best player in the sport, and they almost have the best record. Like they are giving you every single reason to believe. And while the Eagles had the best record, they didn't look like the best team. The Sixers look like the best team with the best player. So while there is like hesitation to buy in, the Sixers are giving fans no choice. Like you have to believe in this team because of what they're showing you now for almost half the year.
Well, yeah, and as long as they don't play, I don't know, the Celtics in some random regular season game and get trounced, you know, maybe.
They don't play them again for like 3 months, so.
Yeah, so right now, I mean, they are, I think they're, a half game behind the Bucks for the 2 seed in the East.
I'm guessing you're looking at that. I mean, I certainly don't know off the top of my head. Yeah, okay.
I mean, you're a big playoff seeding guy. Like they're right there. And I think they are. I think they are giving people a reason to believe again, and that's great because like it's way more fun when the team's good. But again, the 2 biggest things that they're gonna have to figure out or overcome, like one is obviously the trade. You know, like Malcolm Brogdon has been thrown out there as a guy today who couldn't get me 25 points last night for plus 1,000. He had 23. Grow up and score 2 more points. Like is that really? Is that really enough? Is that the final piece? I love Malcolm Brogdon. I think he's a really solid player, but like they kind of have all the role players. Like they have all the extra guys. It's the right. It's whether they get the right start, and then it's obviously.
Well, I almost like to your point because it's kind of a constant like back and forth we've had, or like pod to pod we feel different ways. Like, do they go get the guy? Because Maxey was not good tonight. Now, Maxey didn't need to be great tonight. Joel was scoring 70 points. And I think Maxey understood, like, the assignment of getting him the ball. But Maxey wasn't good. Maxey looked like a role player tonight. I guess everyone did compared to Joel, but Maxey did. Tonight was a night.
Oubre's taking a step back.
Oubre's definitely taking a step back. Our guy Batum, just unbelievable. I mean, Batum is like...
Just knows how to play the game.
I was going to tweet at one point, like, it's so amazing to watch such a long athletic player dominate the game the way he does. Of course, talking about Batum, not Wemby. Right. What do you think about that tweet? Would that have been good?
Well, I kind of forgot what you were talking about because I was like, why would you? Like, I kind of thought you were making a Ben Simmons dig.
No. So let me ask you that.
The funniest part about Batum is how quickly he's just like, I mean, he'd be the best hot potato player in the country. Like, that'd
be a good tweet. There you go.
He's unbelievable. Like, I watched Jokic and I'm like, great beer pong player. I watched Batum and I say, unbelievable hot potato player. Just unbelievable.
Batum is a little like Jokic.
Yeah, why don't you tweet that? More offensive, higher offensive ceiling, Nicholas Batum or Jokic. Or Jokic. By the way, I do need to clear something up before we go any further on this podcast and make me look like more of an idiot. Trace McGrady technically played in the finals, but
wait. When did he play in the finals?
With the Spurs. But like, let's be serious here.
Wait, was this this was like cooked McGrady though, right?
This series went 7 games. And he played a total of 13 minutes.
Yeah, so that doesn't count.
That barely counts. The list of players never make a finals. Steve Nash.
Yeah, great player.
Yeah, great player.
Take some fake MVP awards. Whose MVP awards mean less, Steve Nash's or Jokic's?
There it is. Yao Ming.
Yao Ming, I think, is kind of overrated in the grand scheme of things. How many years was he really great?
He was fine. He was fine. He should not be ahead of Carmelo on this list.
Agreed.
Vince Carter.
Carmelo. Yeah.
Vince Carter, your boy Dominique Wilkins.
My boy Dominique Wilkins. Why is that my boy?
Because he played in the 80s.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Vince Carter was my guy growing up.
Oh, I'm
No,
sure
Dominique Wilkins was not.
you're a big Vince
Yeah.
Carter guy. Chris Webber, Grant Hill, there he is.
Yep, told you. Told you. I told you to be on the list.
Amari Stoudemire, LaMarcus Aldridge, and
Amari
Joe Johnson.
Stoudemire.
I know. This is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. We can't let
we can't let Joel
Embiid
get on the list.
And this list was Steve Nash, Yao Ming, Melo. Like, you're talking about all-time NBA losers. Melo, Vince Carter, Chris Webber, Stoudemire. Like, come on.
Dude, this is a random aside, but, like, can you imagine the internet today if a player went to his graduation the morning of a Game 7 and flew in?
It's all time.
Because it would be amazing, because one part would be like, you can't do this, and the other part would be like, stop shaming him for prioritizing education. Like, it would be unbelievable.
It would be I often compare these two. So there's like WIP world, where I know how people react on WIP versus Twitter world. So like WIP world is what the hell are you doing? Like it's Game 7, you can't be focusing on other things. Twitter world's like, oh, he's just following his dreams.
Yes, Twitter world would be very proud of him for doing this. So chances this comment right here is from Howard Eskin under an alias. The NBA needs to bring back defense. It does not exist anymore. Not having it makes the game unwatchable. Is that Howard? Jason?
I was watching the game tonight, and you know what I said? I said needs more defense.
Yeah, that was the main takeaway from everybody.
So by the way, I think Cat's only gonna have 62.
Oh, nice. Is he out? Some people are putting it in the comments that are leaving.
Well, they're losing. They're now losing.
Very classic Cat to be losing this game.
Yeah, as he's scoring 62.
Would you trade Maxey straight up for Anthony Towns?
No.
I wouldn't either.
No, I have decided that I'm keeping Maxey until, again. So you might not believe me, and I might not believe me either.
the best opinions start from that.
I would take Anthony Edwards on the Sixers on over just about anything in sports, like like over a Phillies championship, like. Anthony Edwards
over a Phillies championship,
dude. Now I will say, I believe a Phillies World Series would do well for my brand.
I was gonna say you'd be like on the float, although your moment might have passed with that.
No, I agree. No, thank you for bringing that up. I'm glad we're doing that now.
No problem.
Because I really do think that. I don't know how I top what happened last summer, and it's why it's
You'll
making.
Top it, buddy.
I don't think I can, but it
well,
makes
to be fair, it's like the most amazing thing to happen in Philly sports media of like my lifetime, besides like maybe the Dirty 30. The funniest would be if they won the World Series, you were on the float, and the yearbook like blurred your face out or something.
Yeah, it's basically what they tried to do for no reason.
Yeah.
But the Phillies run makes me want to appreciate this Sixers run more, because I thought the Phillies had all those moments too. Like they did. Like they had the Phillies had it all right there. The Eagles, you falsely led the people into believing.
I was wrong.
Into believing that this team was something that, I mean, even like
here we go.
Obvious that this team had collapsed. You're like, I don't know.
All right,
it's hard not to believe in this team after all they put on tape over the last
okay.
years.
Let me ask you, what's all right? Actually, I'm not gonna ask you. I'm just gonna say it. Like the Trey Turner thing was an unbelievable thing for you, and I'm not like playing the whole you're not an Eagles fan, because I know you are. But the satisfaction you get out of being right about the team is like maybe the happiest I've seen you. And I was in the room when you met Trey Turner. I think you want the Eagles to win, but just you feeling like you were right. You're enjoying it quite a bit.
Well, and the worst
feeling
part
I hope to have one day.
The worst part is that no one's even acknowledged it. It's just,
no one cares when you're right. It's only when you're
wrong. I put in a lot of work to make sure I was right. It took a lot of crap to know that I was right.
A lot of film breakdown.
Absolutely no film breakdowns.
Yeah,
like imagine wasting your time doing film breakdowns when you have this eye, when you have this set of eyes. Yeah,
couldn't.
No, but like But the Phillies run is making me look at the Sixers run like it's very similar. I mean, it's very similar. You had in August alone, you had the Trey Turner ovation, you had Lorenzen no hitter, you had the Bryce, you had the home run off the Giants when they were down a couple in the ninth and they lost that game. You had Bryce's 300th that he hit off of Matt Moore. Like
I was there
you
for
had, you actually were there for that.
Yeah, I was there for that. Yeah.
Which I'm proud of you, buddy.
Thank you.
But like that's what we're talking about right now. Like we're talking about this team who has been devoid of, I think, these kind of moments and devoid of having the fan base believe in them really since they were the 1 seed. Kind of starting to get them back. And I just, for this to end how the last couple seasons have ended, like it would be such a travesty to not only this great player, but look at the coach that we have right now. Look at Maxi's ascension. I mean,
it's the best team they've had around Joel.
And look at the Pat Bev, the Morris, like these kind of like our boy Batum. I mean, they are really well positioned, and they can't do it this year. They cannot. They can't do it. Like, don't do it. Just go freaking.
I feel like you're begging right now.
Like, because it's ridiculous. Like, it's like Brock Purdy breaks my sports brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he obviously sucks. Like, he obviously is not good at football.
Should have lost the game to the Packers.
He should have lost the game to the Packers. Yeah. Like, if he was anywhere else, he's
would he be the worst quarterback to win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, of course he would be.
Trent Dilfer.
Dilfer, whatever. Like Purdy's obviously put away. Yeah, well, Foles, like historically, yes, but in an Eagles uniform, he's God.
Right.
This Sixers thing also breaks my sports brain. Like I don't know what to compare it to. It is Bills-ish. I mean, they both can't get out of the second round. Although, I mean, Josh Allen did technically play in the AFC Championship game in 2020, but no one remembers it.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Like, because Embiid and Allen are very, very similar. I brought that up on the air today. Like, both are all-time greats. They have no accomplishments. Like, neither one of them have like any accomplishments. I mean, Josh Allen hasn't even won an MVP.
Well, Embiid has more than Josh Allen.
He does. Yeah. But no accomplishments that people. This is not a shot at you.
Yeah, don't
accomplishments.
Say it.
No accomplishments that people care about.
Yeah,
The MVP is something that people care about, and that's fine. But like it'll be brought up as a way to argue against another player. It's not going to be like I remember all the Joel Embiid MVP, or like I remember more of this year of Joel Embiid than I do last year Joel Embiid.
So I think that they should hang banners in the stadium with like players that have scored 50+ points, players that have scored 60+ points, and tonight it would be the first 70+ point guy. Like I like tonight was to kind of come full circle on it. Like tonight was a historic accomplishment. Like to your point, we might not ever see this in our lifetime again, and it deserves to be hanging in the rafters. Like I think we do this weird thing with banners where we act like they're like some sacred thing. Like, and they're obviously not since they put Nova banners up at the Wells Fargo. But like,
right, and concerts.
Yeah, and concerts exactly. Bruce Springsteen banner. But like tonight's like one of the greatest Sixers accomplishments we'll probably see. Like just in terms of just a night and like a player playing at that level, we won't have many more nights of our Sixers fandom that'll be like better than this. Yeah,
I agree. So people
get so worked up about banners. Now people are in the comments like, dude, you and banners, stop the banners.
Well, but you also have a weird obsession with banners. I don't care. Like I went to the Flyers game the other day and I was like, wow, there's a lot of banners up there. You know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, like, I'm sure stadium. So never mind. I was gonna say, there are a lot of banners. I agree.
You only see banners if you go to the game. So why does it matter?
Because I think we like gatekeep banners as if like.
But why do you care so much about banners?
Because I think great accomplishments should be remembered forever in the rafters of the stadium. Like they have Atlantic Division titles up there. I'm pretty sure still. Like take those down.
By the way, can we just get rid of divisions in the NBA? No one cares.
Yeah.
Have you ever been like,
in-season tournament's the new division?
The in-season tournament matters more than divisions in the NBA.
Agreed.
It's the dumbest thing ever because all that matters is your seeding. You don't get any extra points for winning the Atlantic Division.
Agreed.
a couple things here before we get on out of here.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really noticed it until tonight, but the amount of pressure, and this is not a shot at this guy, but the amount of unnecessary pressure that Matt Cord puts on the brickin' for chicken shooters is insane. Like, it was the third quarter, and like you would have thought it was game 7 of the it's like he's like, they have a chance for chicken. Like, it was like he like really
here's another take on
really
this.
calling it.
I don't like the brickin' for chicken.
Oh, brickin' for chicken's good.
So the Chick-fil-A is better than getting the Frosty, but the Frosty was better. It was a better bit.
The Frosty freeze out?
Yeah. Well, the worst one is the Eagles. If they don't allow a point in the first quarter, everyone gets a Frosty. Like, I've never seen less people care about a bit or like a giveaway than that. That when they would tweet it, like they'd be down like 10 or whatever. I guess they wouldn't be down 10-0, but they like when they were up 6-0 on the Niners, they tweeted it out, and it was like, I don't know if this is the time. But.
Are the Eagles the third best team in the city?
Oh,
that hit you right in the Eliot Shorr-Parks feels.
Yeah. I mean, look, the Sixers are the best team in the city.
Well, they got to go further than the Phillies to do that, but sure.
No, they're better than the Phillies, but we don't have to get into this right now. They're better than the Phillies.
90-some wins, NLCS, World Series.
Yeah, and they choked it away.
All-time players having all-time moments.
Yeah, well, you just said this is a Embiid thing. Is something we'll never see our life.
Well, Bryce Harper also exists.
We'll
see another player.
Do it on a Monday night against the Spurs. That's my new bar. For,
yeah, dude. Wake me up when you Bedlam at the bank. What? Who cares?
Fraud franchise.
How about scoring 70 against the Spurs in a game where they weren't that into?
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, you'd probably have to go Sixers, Phillies. Look, get out of here with the Flyers. Like, the Flyers are fun, but like the Flyers are not better than the Eagles.
Are the Union any good anymore? I haven't checked in on them.
Nah, the Union fell off, sadly.
Oh, such a shame.
Yeah. I actually got I got a lot of Union takes, but just no one really cares. So yeah. Like, they're gonna re-sign Andrew Bedoya. Like, I think it's a massive mistake.
Oh, that is crushing. I was just
he's so washed. It's like the Eagles re-signing like who are some washed guys they signed after the Super Bowl? I guess all of them.
I mean, all of them. I mean, you could look at this team with Bradley Roby and Byard and Bradbury. I mean, they are.
Gotta get you out to a Union game.
Yeah. Well, I'll take Walker one day.
You'll consider it. They are very family friendly, I will say.
When I get to bang, that's because it's minor league baseball.
Well, all right. Can I tell you something? Like, I think there's a non-0% chance that I will get to bang the drum at a Union game. Like, it's not that crazy. I'm probably the biggest, in terms of social media following, the biggest fan they have in the city.
Yeah, but you tweet once a month about them.
Well, I tweet more than once a month. I tweet more than most people. But my fear is I'll get booed if I bang the drum. So I think if they asked me, I would say no.
Probably.
Yeah, I couldn't take that. Now, I would hope Union fans would back me up because I support the team more than any other media member, but couldn't take the risk.
Yeah, that's
it's a little secret about myself at 10:30 at night that I feel comfortable telling you.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how I felt about whenever you would be like, oh, you guys should throw out the first pitch. It's like, dude,
you weren't going to get booed. You and Seltzer would have got like a standing.
Would have got booed, but it would have like what if people were like,
I agree.
It's who are these people? Like,
yeah.
Who are these people? Also, imagine Seltzer out there.
Oh my god, dude! How like the ball would be like,
dude,
out of a cannon.
He's shaking the Bank Park. He gets his little leg going.
It would have been amazing. He takes
a triple shot of the Starbucks.
The ball would be fired out of a cannon out of the stadium. But maybe one day, you guys deserve it. But.
I think you'd hit the Fanatic with a baseball.
Yeah, well, sure. That's one person put in the chat. If I banged the drum at the Union, who's this? Like, yeah, that's exactly. And right, no, someone else. No way the High Hopes guys get booed. Exactly. There's no way you would get booed.
Okay, so we have an event.
Yes, here we go.
At McGurk's. McGurk's is awesome. If you haven't been to McGurk's in Horsham, first off, unbelievable food, an unbelievable space. Great beer. It's obviously all presented by Coors Light. We'll be hanging out, watching the Sixers. So, like, maybe Joel saves 72.
Yeah, just for us.
just for us. But yeah, we're hanging out McGurk's Thursday, February 1st. So mark your calendars. Can't believe we're already like almost through January.
I know.
Like
it's crazy.
Of 2024.
Yeah.
So February 1st, we'll be out at McGurk's in Horsham. Great spot, unbelievable spot, and come on out and watch us.
You like McGurk's?
I do love McGurk's.
Yeah.
So like we have food drops at work every
They're
once in a while.
without question the best food drops. It's not even. Yeah.
When we get a McGurk's food drop, like you won't see a happier me.
Well, their cheesesteak egg rolls, which I think are the best. Not the best food, but like certainly the best appetizer
for sure.
Yeah, they're the best. They bring fire cheesesteak egg rolls. So
always. So come on out February 1st. We'll keep talking about it because it's going to be a great time, and we'll have some Coors Light, and we'll have a great night.
We'll talk about the team.
Talk about the team. Talk about the Sixers, and
I'm sure exclusive Sixers talk. No Eagles, no Phillies. Yeah,
not allowed. It's in the contract.
So I hear there's going to be a red carpet there.
Yeah, it's a little much.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate the rolling out the red carpet. Just don't think I'm worthy.
It'll be interesting to see what
you might be worthy. Yeah.
Well, I feel like I'm worth it. You're more worth it.
Thanks. Yeah. That's very
no
selfless
problem.
of you.
Yeah, no problem.
Of you. It's been a special night, and I'm glad that we were able to sit here and react to it because, again, when you're 6 feet under, and in a few years
you're still young and vibrant.
We're gonna look back and be like, "Wow, we watched Joel Embiid absolutely cook that scrub Victor Wembanyama."
Yeah,
and when Victor Wembanyama probably has more playoff success than Joel in a couple of years, we won't.
Oh God!
Because of a January 22nd, 2024, when our guy put up 70 and beat a Wilt record.
Our guy.
Be pretty special. You gotta be pretty special to beat a Wilt record.
Yeah. Well, real quick to wrap this up, did you see this? Joel took a picture with a piece of paper that has 70 on it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah,
I like that.
I'm proud of him. Yeah, whatever it takes. Whatever
it takes to erase the 100 from Wilt. Jackson on it.
Exactly right. All right. For Eliot, Shorr-Parks, and Jack Fritz, it's been another fantastic emergency edition of
It's all we do.
Clap Your Hands podcast.